I am the founder of Afrobeat FIt. However, when I met Joel and when I did the podcast, I was producing a children's show. So to give you more information about me, I'm born in Providence, Rhode Island. I currently reside there. So I came up, I'm generally moving all over the place. So if you follow me on social media, I may be in different places each week or weekend, which is the life I love. Besides that, my mom is Liberian, my dad is Nigerian, so I am first gen with parents of immigrant status. And I often joke that music was the first thing that I heard. I was partially deaf when I was younger, and so at the age of 2, I got surgery, and my mom immediately put me into dance classes. So all my life I've been training, all my life I've been dancing, and all my life I can honestly say I've been combating these social narratives. You know, the ones that tell you like you can't do that, or you're not like good enough. And so being a dancer, I actually moved to Atlanta to train industry, and I got that even more because I was auditioning for tours and doing things like that, and I got that so much. You're too fat. That's what I got. You're too dark. Your hair is natural. We want to weave. So I got all of those things, and I think that that was the catalyst to, you know, me being where I am now. So to give you some just backstory, so with Afrobeat FIt, when I lived in Atlanta, I was mainly a hip hop dancer. That was my typecast. I fit roles for hip hop. At the time, I wanted to do Afro. I wanted to do African dance. I wanted to connect to my roots. But my manager said, you can't do that. You're here for hip hop, do hip hop. So Afrobeat FIt was an idea that I scribbled on a notebook paper. And so that was my book that I wrote my dreams, and I wrote all the things that I wanted to do. I scribbled that there and I just put it away. And I said, God, I don't know. If I'm supposed to do it, just like, let's come back to it. And so many moons later, that's what I'm doing now. And so I'm currently not a moonlighter, so I'm a full-time entrepreneur. And prior to that, when I was a moonlighter, the last job I held was the Director of Diversity and Inclusion at a college in Worcester, outside of Worcester, Paxton. And so in that space, I really wanted to create positive change within the lives of my students, whether incremental or monumental. That was why I took the role, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm a director, I can do this. I can really, you know, impact my students. Ironically, in that role, it was everything but that. And so after working for a few months, you know, really edifying my students, making great change at the institution, I realized that my soul and my passions were parched. I was still doing Afrobeat FIt, but in that space, I felt like a caged bird. I felt like I was parched, and I needed water, I needed sustenance. And so August 31st, 2018, that was my last day. And when I quit, it was so random. My boss cried, I cried. I didn't plan it. And when I drove out of the institution that day, I was just like, what the F did I do? What am I doing? And so I didn't tell my family about me quitting for about like 2 months. My sister knew, but nobody else knew. I told my mom she was the last to know, I think 2 months later. And I figured, okay, I have all this time. I can do my business, I can do Afrobeat FIt. So now to give you some backstory, what is Afrobeat FIt? Afrobeat FIt, we host sweat sessions where music and movement derived from West Africa and Africa at large. So when I was, you know, taking that leap to do this full time, or even at fruition, when I was thinking about this, I didn't want to just be a dancer. I didn't want to make the chump change, no offense. I just didn't want to make the chump change. I wanted to actually do my passion and live that out and make it sustainable. And so with my business, I spent time, you know, branding out the brand identity, you know, carving out the experience, carving out what I wanted people to experience in that place. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't want to teach classes, you know, $9, $10. I don't want to do that. I did want to do that, but I also wanted to bring it to higher powers too. So I have a myriad of clients. We actually have hosted over 300 sweat sessions since 2016. You can find Afrobeat FIt on ClassPass and Airbnb experiences. Besides that, we have corporate clients, we have college clients and school-based clients, and then we also do community classes in Washington, D.C., and Providence, and in Boston. And so that's why I'm always everywhere. In the past 2 weeks, I was in Minnesota, DC, Providence, Boston, and maybe another city. And so I'm kind of under the weather today because I got through tax season. And I didn't sleep the past 2 days to get my bookkeeping all done. And so, yeah, so this journey, and I'm going to be transparent. So yesterday, I had a mini meltdown after I cleared the hurdle of taxes. And I was crying, I was on the phone with my sister, and I told her, I'm like, nobody tells you the trials and tribulations and how arduous it is to be an entrepreneur. You know, nobody tells you this stuff. Everyone wants to just be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to say, oh, I own a business. But it's so hard. It's so hard. And one of the things that I've experienced is the lack of support from even my community. You know, so for me, initially I'm like, oh yeah, my family's gonna support people around me. I realized that the outermost tier are my clients. And my family is just my family. So I really had to discern what roles were and be okay with that and not have any ill or malice about that. And that's okay. You know, and then the other thing I've been learning is the same support that I'm seeking, the same support that I want, I need to give it as well. You know, and so it's okay for me to see, this is a real life event, it's okay for me to see a holistic soap for $8. And I would be like, what? $8? But it's okay for me to say, no, that person has quality ingredients in that soap, and that is why it's $8. I'm broke, and I can't afford it. And that's why I say, what? And so I've been really learning about those nuances. You know, so I'm kind of creating, I guess, a better entrepreneurial footprint. And so with that said, right now, I may go back and work a job again because I have many international trips and weddings that I need to attend, you know, and so I'm thinking of getting a job again because I need the money. You know, prior, Afrobeat FIt it's been totally sustainable, and I do have team members as well, but it's okay, it's a journey. You know, it's a journey and it's my journey, you know, and I can honestly say now that I'm creating the positive change within the lives of others, whether incremental or monumental, but I'm doing it my way. Thank you for listening.